Hey there, folks. In this video, we're just going to review your basic trig functions, okay? And in order to do that, we have to keep in mind that these only work in a right triangle. And what we also have to remember is that it's related to an angle's perspective, okay? So it changes if we use this angle versus this angle. So, since it pertains to the angle, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to draw this arrow across. That makes this the opposite side. Okay, the side across from the right angle is the hypotenuse, which means that this is the adjacent side. Now, these will switch if you use this angle up here because the arrow would be drawn to a different side. We will never use the right angle. Okay, now we define sine to be the sine of the angle, which I'm just going to call A, to be opposite over the hypotenuse. We define cosine to be the length of the adjacent side over the hypotenuse. And we define tangent to be opposite over adjacent. Okay, that's all the background information you need. Let's get going. So, number one, they want to talk about the sine of z. So, since z is my angle that I'm using, I'm going to draw my arrow. That makes this the opposite side. That's the right angle, so this is the hypotenuse. All right, which means this is the adjacent. I will do this for every picture. So sine is opposite of a hypotenuse. So 12 over 15, but we must reduce that. 3 goes into both of those, and we get 4 over 5. For number 2, they talk about cosine of c. Oh, I know cosine is adjacent. I don't care. I'm still going to draw that line in because this tells me this is opposite. This is the hypotenuse. That's the adjacent side. So cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse, so it is 15 over 17. For number 3, tangent of x. Well, here's x. That's the opposite side. That's the right angle, so this is the hypotenuse. So this is the adjacent side. Tangent is opposite over adjacent. So we have 48 over 50. And I can reduce that to be 24 over 25. And for number 4, I have the sine of angle C. So, opposite, this is the hypotenuse, and then this is the adjacent side. Sine is opposite over hypotenuse, so 21 over 29. Now, the next 4, you need a calculator for, because what they want is they want us to use the inverse sine, cosine, and tangent. Okay, we use regular when we know the angle. Okay, but when we want to find the angle, we need to use the inverse. So the very first thing I'm going to do is, since this is the angle that I'm using, I'm going to draw in that arrow. This is the opposite. This is the hypotenuse. This is the adjacent side. So the sides I know are adjacent and hypotenuse. Well, there's my SOHCAHTOA, so I'm going to use that as reference. Adjacent and hypotenuse, that is cosine. So I'm going to use inverse cosine of 20 over 28. So I need my calculator. So I'm going to bring up the calculator. Now, the thing you need to make sure is that you are in degree mode. So hit mode, go down to radian, hit the right arrow, go to degrees, and hit enter. Degree is now selected, so I can quit. Now, second cosine is what I need to hit. Second cosine. Oops, it didn't register the second. So second cosine of 20 over 28. I'm going to hit enter. And they want to the nearest degree, so I would say about 44 degrees. Good enough. Moving on, and moving this out of our way here. Okay, so number 6 is opposite, hypotenuse, adjacent. We know opposite, we know adjacent. That is tangent. So, inverse tangent of opposite over adjacent, 2 over 5. So, calculator time, second tangent, 2 divided by 5 is about 22 degrees. Okay. Number 7, opposite, hypotenuse, adjacent, same thing. Okay, inverse tangent of 14 over 33. So, second tangent, 14 over 33 is about 23 degrees. And in number 8, opposite, hypotenuse, adjacent. Well, it looks like this one is tangent as well. So, inverse tangent of 11 over 13. So, second tangent, 11 over 13 is about 40 degrees. Okay, so now moving down to the bottom questions. I'm still going to need my calculator here. So find the missing side. Well, here's the angle that I know. This is opposite, hypotenuse, adjacent. The sides that are labeled are the opposite side and the adjacent side. So that means I'm going to use tangent. Now, I use regular tangent when I know the angle, or regular sine or regular cosine. I use inverse when I'm trying to find the angle. So, tangent of 53 degrees is going to equal opposite over adjacent. It's going to equal x over 15. Now, this can be somewhat yucky. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to make this a proportion. Put that over 1. Now I'm just going to cross multiply and divide. So, x equals 15 times the tangent of 53. So I'm going to type that into my calculator exactly as I see it. So, 15 tangent 53. So that means that x is 19.9. Pretty simple. Over here, number 10. This is the opposite, hypotenuse, adjacent. Okay, so I know the opposite, I know the adjacent. Well, I want the adjacent, but I know the angle. So opposite and adjacent, that's tangent of 71 degrees. Going to equal 18 over x. Make it a fraction. Cross multiply. X times tangent 71 equals 18. 1 times 18. So, get x by itself, divide by the tangent of 71. So x equals, and I'm just going to type it in exactly as I see it, 18 divided by tangent 71. It's about 6.2. Over here for number 11, opposite, hypotenuse, adjacent. So, opposite and hypotenuse, that is sine. So sine 31 degrees equals opposite over hypotenuse. Make it a fraction, so now I can solve by cross multiplying. So 18 equals x times sine 31. Divide by sine 31. And x equals, well, I don't know. I'm going to find out. 18 divided by sine 31, enter, is about 34.9. And the last question, number 12. Okay, this is my angle. This is my angle, so opposite, hypotenuse, adjacent. So since it's opposite and adjacent, that would be tangent. Tangent of the angle equals opposite over adjacent. Make it a proportion. Cross multiply. X times the tangent of 58 equals 19 times 1. Divide by the tangent of 58. And we're about to find out what x is. So 19 divided by tangent 58. So x is about 11.9. So there's your skill set, folks, completed for you in its entirety. So I hope this helps. Have a great day.